So many British people are becoming Muslim that it's become one of the fastest growing religions in the country. The Office for National Statistics estimates that around 3.9% of the UK population identify as Muslim, which is around 2.7 million people. But at the same time, more than half of all marriages in England and Wales involving a Muslim are between a Muslim man and a non-Muslim woman. This means that through interfaith marriage alone, thousands of British people are joining Islam every single year. And even though these numbers don't seem particularly high when compared to other countries like France, where 8.8% of the population is Muslim, they do represent a big shift for Britain. The 2011 census found that there were just 1.8 million Muslims living in England and Wales, meaning that in just over a decade, the Muslim population has increased by 50%. And according to the ONS, the growth of the Muslim population is likely to outpace that of the Christian population, which will slow down from 8% to 7% over the next 10 years. Now, as someone who works with a lot of young British Muslims, I find this trend really interesting because what I've seen is that it often comes as a surprise to other people when they find out that someone from the UK is Muslim. They imagine someone from Britain becoming Muslim to be a rare occurrence, when really, it's happening far more frequently than we might think. So today I wanted to look into this a bit more. Why are so many British people becoming Muslim? And is there something that we can learn from their story? I know this is probably going to sound like a weird question. I honestly couldn't find any good data on how many British people are becoming Muslim each year. The closest figure that I could find was from 2015, which suggested that around 7,000 people were converting to Islam each year. But considering that most marriages involving a Muslim partner take place in London, under the 2011 census, found that the majority of Muslims living in the capital were actually born there. This number seems too low to account for the growth in the Muslim population that we've seen over the last few decades. So instead, I decided to talk to a few people whose journey to Islam began in the UK to try and get to the bottom of this myself. I've told their stories while respecting their privacy and changing their names to protect their identities. The first person I spoke to was Aisha, a 25-year-old British Muslim from Manchester. When she was 19, she began experiencing what she describes as a spiritual awakening, where she started questioning things that she had never questioned before, like who am I and why am I here? And during that process, she began reading about Islam and found that it answered a lot of questions that she had. She also really liked the message of peace that she saw in the Quran. She said that learning about Islam made her feel complete. It felt like the missing piece of the puzzle that she didn't know she was looking for. In the end, she formally converted when she turned 21 after reading the Shahada, which is the Islamic declaration of faith. The second person I spoke to was Hamza, a 36-year-old graphic designer from Birmingham. He says that he always felt disconnected from his life there. Nothing really interested him, and he felt like he didn't really belong. That was until he moved to London for work. One day, he saw a group of Muslim women praying in the street, and he felt drawn to them. So he went up to them and asked them what they were doing. They were kind and invited him to join them. And that's when he heard the Adhan, which is the call to prayer, for the first time. After speaking to the men, he decided to convert. And he says that ever since he's been on the best journey of his life. The third person I spoke to was a 24-year-old law graduate called Maryam from Cardiff. Her father is from Bangladesh, and her mother is from Britain. And she grew up hearing stories about Islam and the Prophet Muhammad from her grandparents. When she was 15, she began to feel drawn to Islam and would pray sometimes. But it wasn't until she went to university that she began to properly explore it. She noticed that her friends from the Middle East seemed very happy and peaceful despite the difficult circumstances that they had come from, so she decided to talk to them. They told her that it was because of the message of Islam that they followed. So she started to read the Quran, and soon after converted. The fourth person I spoke to was Adam, a 43-year-old teacher from Yorkshire. He says that he spent much of his life searching for the truth, reading books and talking to different religious leaders. But it wasn't until he met a Muslim preacher called Hamza that everything changed. He says that Hamza's message resonated with him so much that he knew he had found the right path. He began studying Islam, and 3 months later he became Muslim. Lastly, I spoke to Yusuf, a 31-year-old charity worker from Nottingham. He says that although he grew up around Islam because his parents are both from Pakistan, he didn't really have much interest in it. He wanted to live his life however he wanted, and he thought that Islam would hold him back. He experimented with drugs and alcohol and had a few relationships, but as he got older, he began to feel unhappy. He says that no matter how much money he earned or how much success he had, he still felt empty inside. So he began searching for an answer and soon found himself reading the Quran. He says that once he learned about Islam, it became obvious to him and he converted. When I asked all of them why they converted to Islam, they gave me a variety of reasons. Some of them, like Aisha and Hamza, said that they were looking for the truth and they felt that Islam was the right path. Others, like Miriam and Adam, said that they were attracted to the message of Islam and the peace that they saw in the Muslims around them. And lastly, some of them, like Yusuf, said that they had been searching for a long time and that Islam was the missing piece of the puzzle. I also asked them why they thought so many British people are becoming Muslim. They all gave me slightly different answers, but I think there are a few reasons why. Firstly, they all said that people are becoming more open-minded and accepting of other religions and beliefs. Britain is becoming more diverse, and people are more willing to explore different cultures and traditions. Secondly, they all said that people are becoming disillusioned with Christianity and other religions, and finding Islam to be a more attractive option. Lastly, they all said that people are becoming more aware of Islam and its message of peace and equality, and they being drawn to it for those reasons. The thing that struck me the most when I spoke to these people was their happiness. All of them said that since they became Muslim, their lives have changed for the better, and they're now happier than they've ever been before. Some of them said that they now feel part of a community, and they not alone in the world. Others said that they now have a purpose in life, and they working towards something bigger than themselves. And lastly, some of them said that they now have peace of mind, and they not worried about the future because they trust in God. I think it's important to hear their stories because it shows us that people do become Muslim because they brainwashed or indoctrinated. People become Muslim because they searching for the truth and they want to know what their purpose in life is. These are the stories that we don't hear in the media, but they the stories that we need to hear more of if we going to understand why so many British people are becoming Muslim. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you know anyone who has become Muslim? And lastly, if you want to watch another video where I explore similar themes, I highly recommend checking out the video I made on why so many non-Muslims pray at Al-Aqsa.